Hello, guys. Happy Wednesday. I hope you guys are all doing fantastic. It is hump day. It is the middle of the week, and today's good. The sun is shining, as you can tell. It is actually hot as can be out here in Cheese Chattanooga streets. So I am, Lord. Usually I would like to be out here and enjoy the wonderful sunroof, but fam, it is sunny like there's nobody's business. So this is what we would call curly hair problems. Okay, I don't know if you can see that. Helped me walk outside yesterday. Stuff gets in your hair and just wants to stay there. Oh man, nature. So happy Wednesday. My name is Shana. I am the founder and CEO of Magnolia Heart Creative. My passion is working with small businesses and nonprofits like yourself because I want to help you to leverage digital marketing. I want you to show up and get results, get paid, get consistent leads through social media, blogging, email, all right? And most newly, that's not really the best way to say that, but the most newest addition to my family, Magnolia Heart Creative family, is the Done For You social media membership. So I'm talking about each month you get everything that you need done for you. You just gotta grab it, apply it, masterclasses, high quality images for any industry, captions, hashtags, the whole shebang. It's great. New members still joining. I love you. If you are new, welcome to the Magnolia Heart Pro family. And if you have not, then I definitely encourage you because it is fantastic being on the inside. We have a masterclass coming up this week, and this month's theme is content calendars. How do you create a content calendar? Like legitly, not just stare at your Hootsuite, your Buffer, your Planoly, your Later, and be like, oh, what do I do with this thing? But how do you actually plan ahead, save yourself time, and then that way you can actually get the results that you're wanting? Oh, yes, that's what it's all about. So we do have a wonderful guest that is joining us today. You know, I've just been loving having these fantastic people join me, and I look forward to hearing you share your let me add her in here. Have nothing to worry about. Just hop on to my IGTV and you can see them, catch all these amazing people that I have been interviewing thus far. So without further ado, I am excited to welcome Miracle. So she's a friend of mine, and she is going to help us take. We're talking about planning ahead. We want to do it smart, right? We're talking about content calendars. We want to do them smart. Yesterday, when I went live, I talked about how, oof, what a day, what a rough day. I just needed a break, no screens, go outside, and just whoosh. So your mindset is so critical in being able to critically, strategically, practically, calmly, creatively put together your plan. So that's why I brought Miracle here today, because she's going to let us know here is how we get our brains in order. So without further ado, please introduce yourself, my friend.
Hi, everyone. Like Shana said, my name is Miracle, and I am a trauma coach and I do consulting services as well for organizations. What I focus on is helping women in marginalized populations heal, find purpose, and succeed and grow, touching into their creative spaces where purpose flows and fulfillment grows.
Absolutely. I love it. So, as is usual, we got to know, how are you surviving Corona?
Well, I am surviving. I'm here every day. It definitely has been an adjustment. I have a little one at home. So we're setting up our routines and just making it the best that we can. One of the biggest things that we have done that's helped tremendously is creating a plan. And so we do that every single day and making sure that we leave time for each other. So that's right after this, that's what we'll be doing. It's playtime. So
I love it. So one of the things that really made me want to consider bringing Miracle on here is because we are all in that struggle bus together. Okay, so whether or not you were working remotely before or not, this is one of those times where everyone is sitting there in the house like, how on earth do I make this work? How on earth do I stay focused and clear my brain in order to get something done? Because full schedules be thrown out the window at a whim, because you just never know what your day is going to hold. You never know what plot twist might come your way. So glad that you mentioned that you're giving time and priority to your daughter, and that you're planning strategically, to get maximize time that you do have for work, so that other time can be spent with your family. Love it, love it, love it, love it, love it. So, but one question that definitely comes to mind is how would you recommend that people clear their mind when there's so many external factors that are just like throwing themselves at us every day? All this stuff is coming at us. How would you recommend that people clear their mind before we even talk about planning? What is your recommendation?
Oh, there's so many things that you can do, and it depends on who you are and what feeds your soul. But one thing that I think about for myself is mindfulness and meditation. So every single night, something that we do is we sit with candles and we just center ourselves. We talk about our day. We talk about, what are the things that we enjoyed today? What were the things that we didn't like? Just centering and being present with ourselves and with each other is huge. It's huge for setting yourself up. The other thing is, as far as your question was focused on organizing and just preparing yourself for the day. There's so many other things that you can do. If you're creative, getting into a creative space and doing things that bring you joy are also fun and help to kind of alleviate any stresses that may be coming your way. So those are a couple of things that I think of off the top of my head. And as we go further, there are a few other ideas as well that I can talk about.
So one thing I definitely heard you said was to be intentional, to set aside time to clear your mind. So we can't just expect our minds to just be wonderfully clear on its own. Is that what you're saying to us?
That's exactly what I'm saying. We, especially with social media, with our responsibilities that we have, interruptions that may happen, if we're not planning and being strategic and intentional about the time that we have and the things that are on our to-do list, it's very easy to get distracted and overwhelmed.
I hear that. So those of you guys who are watching, or if you're watching the replay, raise your hand if you never get distracted. Anyone who raise their hand, sit down, you're lying to us, because we all get distracted. It is life. Social media, okay, that's why Zoom and GoToWebinar, Webinar Jam, like a lot of these platforms exist, and everyone's super familiar with Zoom nowadays. These platforms exist because you can control the environment. Why? Because if you get on Facebook, you watch a live, next thing you know, that bing, that notification comes up, you're like, oh, wait, what? And then you go click on something, and next thing you know, you've trickled away, 10 minutes gone, and the live is over, and you don't know how you got where you are. So setting aside time to be intentional to block out distractions is a powerful tip, because one of the things that we learn when it comes to planning ahead is blocking out time. That means you set aside this time, you say, self, I will not do anything else except for this amount of time, whether it's 15 minutes to check your email, whether it is 10 minutes to catch up on some follow-up stuff with clients, or whether it's 1 hour to make phone calls. Whatever it is, you have to block out time, and you gotta say no. Boundaries are a thing. You have to say no to other things so that you can get what you need to get done. So thank you, Miracle, for reminding us that we need to tell ourselves no self. This is not what we're doing right now. No self. All right, awesome. So when we're actually sitting down to plan, what are some things that you would recommend that people think about to evaluate if their mind is clear, right? Because a lot of times we're like, okay, this is the time I set aside for planning, but they don't wind up getting as much done because they're not sure why they're not focusing in the way that they're wanting to. So what would you say to someone who is unsure of if their mind is clear and if they're going to be able to focus?
So what would I say if someone was unsure whether their mind was clear?
Mm-hmm.
And so how would they need to focus? How to clear their mind, and what would they need to do to help them focus? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, sure.
Wonderful. Okay. So one of the things that when I work with someone who has a trauma background, one of the things that's impacted is their ability to their executive functioning. So their ability to focus, their ability to remember things as easily as other people who may not have experienced trauma. And in these days, all of us have been traumatized. It is something that I don't think any one of us has been able to escape from, with the changes and how our communities and how our government and our country and the world has been affected by this. So some of the things that can help you strategically focus is to put a plan into place, put a schedule into place, look at your priorities, look at the things that you're responsible for. And then one thing you can do is itemize them, in the sense of look at what's priority, what are the things that you need to accomplish, and what are the things that are kind of on the middle ground, that it's okay if I do this, but if I don't get it done, it's okay. I can move that to the next day. And what I'm saying by all of that is being flexible, and making sure that you're leaving time for adapting, because again, there's so many things that are out of our control, but what's in our control are the things that we do with our time and the things that we allow for ourselves, especially if you have kids. There's so many things that can pop up, but if you have a plan that you put into place, be flexible with that plan. Just make sure that you have the things that are your responsibility, that they're listed on there, and get them done as you can. Grace and self-compassion being top priority on anything that you're trying to accomplish.
Perfect. So what I hear you saying is that you got to do a brain dump, right? So dump all the stuff out your head, and that helps you to focus. And actually, as you're saying that, I was like, oh, that makes so much sense. So a lot of times when you do block out time to sit down and plan ahead, you run into walls because your brain itself is over inundated with information, right? So we're talking about your brain is overloaded with the news and the coronavirus updates. We're talking about how your brain can't handle yet another update on whether or not you should be wearing a cloth mask or what's that thing called? A head bandana thingy. Where should you be wearing gloves to the store? Should you not be wearing gloves to the store? There are just so many questions. You're inundated with all of that information. And then you have family members, and then a lot of us have friends or family or both that are on the front lines, that are working in hospitals and working in all of these critical necessity industries throughout our country. A lot of people are out of work. So in the middle of the day, you could be like, oh my gosh, I just got another email from a bill collector or another phone call from a bill collector. The list goes on, right? Of how many things that can pop in to just burden our brain. So I'm so glad you mentioned that. Before you sit down to take over the world, which I know you will, right, fam? Before you take over the world, you need to get all that stuff out your brain, right? Because we're talking about effective and efficient planning. We're not just, oh, I did something. Oh, I threw a plan together. No, we want to get, how can we maximize our time? Because what you could be doing, what the type of planning you could be doing within 2 hours stressed could get done in half the time when you are not stressed, because your brain is thinking clearer, right? So what I hear you saying, Miracle, is that do a brain dump, right? Maybe you grab your journal and you go journal before you plan. Maybe you call a friend and you're like, hey, I need to get some stuff off my chest. I have all these worries and things like that that are really bogging down my brain. So releasing all the extra stuff that's in the way. That way you can sit down and focus on your actual objective for whatever it is that you're planning for, whether it's marketing, whether it's sales, whether it's operations, whether it's administrative things, whether it's employee things, whether it's financial things, right? All of these things need our clear focus. Am I off base? Let me know.
It's the same thing. Adding to that is the distraction. So when you're doing that brain dump, making sure that you give yourself the time and the space to think clearly, to think fully about what you do have to do. And what I mean by that, having a kiddo, so putting a plan into place for her so that she's occupied, so that while I am thinking, I'm not distracted by the other things that I have that I'm responsible for. So it's super important. Same thing with notifications on your email or other things that you have to do. Set aside a set amount of time, whether it's how much ever time you need, 30 minutes, an hour. You could do this daily or you could do this once a week, but it's getting yourself to a place where you're giving yourself the time you need to plan accordingly to prevent the anxiety and the stressors that may come up throughout, your week or your day.
Oh, I love it. I love it. Yes, Jenny, this is good. Hello to everyone who has joined. If you are watching the replay, what's up? We are at the point where our minds are just being blown right now because we're thinking practically about how to be better at planning by first addressing our brain. So Miracle is saying that, hey, why don't you create a little schedule for 30 minutes for your kiddo so that you actually have 30 minutes to sit down and do something? Will this work for every child? No, absolutely not. But we can be creative about what we're doing. Let's just say your kids get on the bike and they're out in the yard riding their little bikes in little circles because they can't go too far. And you take that opportunity to do a little brain dump in your phone. So you take 5 minutes and you just write out some of the stuff that's just rolling around your brain. So all of a sudden you have been strategic, you have maximized your time, and you are being flexible knowing that you may not have 30 minutes with your kids completely being angels, but you can have 5 minutes with them right there safely in front of you, riding their bikes in circles, screaming at each other, having a great time, and you're able to get something done. So that was really good advice, Miracle. I like that. I like that. What other practical tips can people incorporate, especially those who, let's just say you don't have kids, but you have a roommate, right? Or let's just say you live by yourself, but you are your biggest distraction because you easily switch over to Netflix or email notifications or whatever it is. So what other tips can you pass along to us on how we can better set aside time to just clear the mind?
So if you're competitive, if you like a challenge, if you're that type of person, something else that is really great is timing yourself. So there's an app called a Pomodoro app, and I don't know the Pomodoro method. I don't know if you guys have heard of that, but that's an app where you give yourself 25 minutes at a time, and you take little breaks throughout this time. So it may be an hour-long block, but it's broken up into 25-minute increments, and you have a 5-minute break in there. So during that space, if you're doing your brain dump, you're planning, you're trying to prepare for your week ahead, set that Pomodoro. I think it's called there's one called a tomato timer. It's a tomato. I think that's what it means in Italian, tomato. But you set that timer and you challenge yourself and say 25 minutes, I'm going to sit here and I'm just going to think about all the things that I have to do. And you give yourself a break, you get up, go make a snack, then you can get up, walk around, do some little yoga, stretching, whatever, in that 5 minutes, come back. And then you have another 25 minutes where you're challenging yourself to complete another section of that task. So let's say brain dump in the first piece, second piece, you're prioritizing what's the most important thing for me to complete today. Next break, potty break, get a drink, whatever, come back, sit down again. And then think about what else. Thank you. I wasn't sure. I wasn't sure the name of it. But the next set of time that you're setting aside, think about, what am I going to complete? So you have your brain dump, you have your priorities, then you think, okay, for today, this is what I'm going to do. For the next day, this is what I'm going to do. And then that last set of time, do one of them. Challenge yourself to get it done within that 25-minute period. So that's one thing that if you don't have kiddos, or if you do, or if you have roommates, or just things that are vying for your attention, that's another thing that would be extremely helpful. And it's also helpful if you are prone to distractions. So it's also making sure, something else that I thought of is turning off the TV. If you have a certain area where you work very well, finding that space and sitting there until you get something done, and then getting up and giving yourself a break. So I have my office that I work in, and I don't have, it's pointed at the wall. I have no other distractions, no other things to get in my way. And I set that timer and I get done what I need to get done. And then I get up and I give myself a break, look at a different wall, I go to a different room. And then I get back to it. So those are a couple of other things, because depending on where you work, that could also be an easy distraction. If you work at the kitchen table, the kitchen's so close, so very close.
14, 15.
Yes, or the television. I mean, there's so many things that can distract you. So find that space where you know that you can center yourself and you can work very well, work intentionally and strategically to get things done, and then reward yourself. Say, I did this, woohoo, I'm gonna, go grab a snack or go for a walk or whatever. Create a list of the things that you really do like, and make sure that, hey, I'm going to get this done, and this is how I'm going to reward myself for the next, how many ever minutes until I have to get back to work.
I love it. Just don't reward yourself with a cookie after every 25 minutes. Food cannot be your reward if you're getting a reward 25 minutes throughout the day.
Yes.
Just of us who thought instantly of food. Oh my gosh. So these were amazing tips. Oh my gosh. So just a quick recap. If you're watching the replay, if you're watching live, if you just joined, couple of quick recaps. One, do a nice brain dump to get stuff out, whether it is journaling, whether it's just writing a list, whatever. Just dump it all out of your brain before you get into the nitty-gritty of planning so that you can focus. And two, another amazing tip is to actually let those in your environment know, like, hey, I want to block out this time to do something. Is it possible for you to do X, Y, and Z? If it's kids, you don't have to ask. You just let them know. This is what you're doing, right? And if it's adults, like maybe you're a caretaker, maybe you have roommates, whatever it is, you can say, like, I'm going to be doing this for this amount of time, just for about a half hour. Here's, your book to read. Here's some music. I'll see you in 30, right? And then finally, use apps. Yes, this is technology. We're all online anyway because we can't leave the apps. So you might as well download a fantastic app, whether it's on your phone or on the desktop, and utilize that app to streamline your set aside time, right? The blocked off time. And I'm sure whatever you mentioned, we'll double check it, and then we can add it to the show notes when we put it up on YouTube and IGTV. But either way, like, there are apps that you can utilize that have all sorts of features, right? So if you're looking for something to help you out specifically with brain dumping, like Miracle talked about, then hey, then we can then you can utilize that. If you're looking for something that is just more like a timer, that's going to tick down, and you can watch it tick down to make sure that you have accountability. Like you said, if you're competitive, if you're extra competitive, So that is an option as well. And I apologize for the lawn people. I didn't know that they were going to come out here, so I apologize. But aside from the guy who just drove in front of me and distracted me, can you tell us again, Miracle, what is the name of the app that you were thinking about? Tomatoes.
Yeah. It's a tomato timer, but the method that came off of the app, it's the Pomodoro method. So, and it's an Italian, I think, and someone fact check me on the Italian word for tomato, but I think Pomodoro means tomato in Italian. But if you Google that Pomodoro method, it just it gives you the explanation of you're setting small increments of time with breaks in between to get tasks done. So it's really great for time management.
Awesome. Yeah. So thank you so much, Miracle. So I love having guests here because I'm gonna tell you, right? Time be flying by that quick, and we're like done. So how can these amazing users that are watching this video get in contact with you, Miracle?
So the best way is my tagline, my name.
What is your username?
Thank you. Yes, my username is at Intended Purpose LLC. So I'm on Instagram and on Facebook. If you guys have any more questions or need any more help or support, please let me know. This is what I do for a living, and I'm here to serve.
Absolutely. So My Intended Purpose LLC is her username. Find her on Instagram, find her on Facebook, hit her up, send her a DM. Let her know that you saw this live and you were like, Miracle, thank you so much for giving me some hope how to get through these days, because I need some hope. I, Shana, also needed some hope because I'm like, man, sometimes I feel like time is slipping away because I keep distracted. I keep getting distracted by pollen flying all around me and choking me. I get distracted when someone texts me and says, oh my gosh, newest COVID update. There are just so many distractions out there. So thank you so much, Miracle, for giving us practical, simple tips that I can literally go off of this live and go implement. So if you're watching live, if you are watching on the replay, if you're catching this on IGTV, if you're catching this on YouTube, I definitely encourage you to comment, to DM, and just right here, those little buttons right there, comments, DM, and just let us know, like, yes, what did you think about these tips? Were they great? Because I know they were great for me. So let me know. And then, yes, My Intended Purpose LLC is Miracle's wonderful business. That is also where you can connect with her, follow her, engage with her content. Let her know that, hey, I have a question. This is the support that I need. So this is Wednesday. We are out. I hope this midday conversation will get you through the rest of your day. I appreciate yes. Patricia, you are the real MVP, girl. Thank you, Patricia.
Thank you.
Real friends out here, guys. We got real friends out here. Thank you all for joining. We are out.
Yes. Thank you. Bye, guys.